Welcome back to NHK Newsline. I'm Kanako Sakno. The foreign ministers of the group of 7 countries began a 3-day meeting in Japan on Sunday. The main items on the agenda include Russia's invasion of Ukraine and China's increasing assertiveness. The ministers have attended a working dinner. They're expected to discuss China's growing military pressure on Taiwan and North Korea's repeated launches of ballistic missiles. As tensions rise between China and Taiwan, Japan seeks to share the idea that any unilateral attempt to change the status quo by force will not be tolerated. Japan will also work with the other G7 nations to strengthen the international order. Japan hopes to demonstrate the group's unity in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in the run-up to next month's G7 summit in Hiroshima. Tokyo is also trying to come up with programs to reach out to the global south, as many emerging and developing nations maintain a neutral position over the conflict in Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron's recent remarks on Taiwan sparked international controversy. Amid concerns about potential disarray among the G7 member nations, France's foreign minister gave an exclusive interview to NHK. Catherine Colonna visited China with Macron earlier this month. During the trip, the French president reportedly said Europe should distance itself from the US-China rivalry over Taiwan.
Our country's stance on Taiwan remains unchanged. We think the status quo should not be unilaterally changed.
The minister also touched on the war in Ukraine. Colonna said Macron pressed China not to get closer to Russia during his talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Colonna spoke to NHK before the G7 foreign ministers began their talks in Japan. She's expected to explain her country's positions at the meeting. The environment ministers of the G7 nations have agreed to make efforts to reduce vehicle emissions. They want the level of carbon dioxide that was recorded in 2000 to be cut in half by 2035. The ministers are wrapping up a 2-day meeting on climate issues, and a major focus has been on how to reduce the carbon footprint of automobiles. They issued a statement saying their countries will check on their own progress every year in order to meet the goal. Emission volumes are calculated based on the number of vehicles in each of the countries, including electric and internal combustion engine models. The agreement calls on the countries to help reduce emissions across a broad range of vehicles, including hybrids. But it does not include a timeline for abolishing coal-fired power plants. Instead, it says they should be phased out if there are not enough measures to reduce emissions from the use of coal, oil and natural gas. The ministers also agreed to take the initiative in boosting the global amount of rare earths and other key materials recycled from used electronics. They also set a new goal of preventing the deterioration of plastic pollution by 2040.
I think the meeting was very meaningful as the G7 nations were able to show unwavering solidarity to the world on climate change and environmental issues.
The ministers incorporated these agreements in their joint statement, which will likely be reflected in the discussions at the G7 summit next month. Police in Japan have searched the home of a man suspected of throwing a bomb at Prime Minister Kishida Fumio. Investigators say they seized computers and what appears to be gunpowder. They also say they confiscated a mobile phone from him. Police asked neighbours to stay away while they carried out the search in case they found explosives. 24-year-old Kimura Ryuji is under arrest on suspicion of forcible obstruction of business. He's reportedly said he will only submit to questioning when lawyers are present. Investigators are also analysing objects recovered from the crime scene. An investigative source told NHK that one cylindrical object was connected with what appeared to be a wire. Investigators say 2 such objects were found at the speech site. One of them had exploded, while the other was in Kimura's possession when he was subdued. On Saturday, the Prime Minister was visiting a fishing port in Wakayama Prefecture, Western Japan, to lend support to a candidate in an upcoming by-election. Just as Kishida was about to begin speaking, a cylindrical object was thrown forward toward him from about 10 meters away. People in the crowd were trying to subdue the suspect when a loud explosion was heard and a cloud of white smoke rose. Kishida was quickly escorted from the site and was confirmed to be unharmed. Authorities say one police officer suffered minor injuries. The Prime Minister's speech was cancelled. Lower and upper house by-elections and local elections will take place on April 23rd.
Such acts of violence can never be tolerated in elections that form the basis of democracy. It is important to carry this election through to the end.
Kishida is calling on the police to take all possible measures to ensure security and safety for election campaigns. Japan's self-defense forces have found part of their helicopter, which disappeared off Okinawa earlier this month. Officials say 2 people believed to be crew members were confirmed dead. The SDF says the debris was located at a depth of about 100 meters, about 6 kilometers north of Irabujima Island. It says divers recovered 2 bodies and were working to bring 3 more people to the surface. The SDF is continuing its search operations. The helicopter took off from Miyakojima Island on April 6th. It disappeared from radar 10 minutes later while flying over the sea. 10 ground self-defense force members were on board, including a division chief. China says it has successfully launched a rocket carrying a weather satellite. Japan and Taiwan remain on alert for falling debris. Chinese authorities say the rocket lifted off on Sunday morning from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in northwestern China. Beijing notified Japan and Taiwan last week it would impose a no-fly zone over waters north of Taiwan. It also announced a ban on the navigation of vessels in designated waters for 6 hours. It said rocket parts could fall into the area during that time. Japan called on China to prevent any impact on ships and aircraft, saying the areas overlap Japan's exclusive economic zone and the skies above the area. Taiwan's defense ministry says debris from the rocket fell in waters off northern Taiwan, but its territory was not affected. Last year, objects that may have been from Chinese rockets were spotted off the Philippine Islands facing the South China Sea. A wooden festival cart overturned in western Japan on Sunday, injuring 11. Local authorities say some people pulling or riding on the cart, called a danjiri, were pinned underneath it after it fell in Sakai City, Osaka Prefecture. The cart had been repaired and was being returned to the local community. A resident said danjiri are usually pulled by 30 to 50 people, but about 100 people were involved at the time of the accident.
This may have been caused by more people pulling the cart than usual.
The cart reportedly toppled over soon after it left a shrine, as it was being put through a move called yarimawashi, a sharp turn at a high speed. And those were the main stories for this hour. That wraps up this edition of NHK Newsline. I'm Kaneko Sakno in Tokyo. Thanks very much for joining us.